How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Making Awesome Podcast, Season 3, Episode 26. We're going to be talking all about that first sale, that ever important first sale. There is a lot more to that first sale than there is. We're going to be getting a deep into this here. This is going to include things like marketing, basics of marketing, because I don't really know shit about marketing, but I try. Um, but there's a lot, and it looks like I might have apparently started streaming to the wrong destination first. So let me make sure that, yeah, I did. I started streaming to the wrong destination. Give me just a second. I hope that's the one that I'm killing first. Yeah, fun thing. I guess when I stopped streaming yesterday, I never turned off the stream on my streaming software. So my streaming software, uh, as soon as we use an in between. We use called switchboard.live. That allows me to multi-stream. It allows me to monitor the stream, and it apparently was still streaming to the Fusion 360 link, which is the link that I use when we do streams out in the garage. When we do streams in here for the podcast, it's a different link. It's a different stream key. So as soon as I started pushing data to Switchboard, it started sending it to a different stream. So I had to go kill that on YouTube. Anyways, we got a bunch of people here hanging out. The chat's already hanging. We got Mad Cat USA, Ronnie. We got Build on Sound. Let's see. We got Justin Miller's here. Tarsman's here. Hunt05 is here. Yeah, Duff was on the wrong stream. Yeah, that's a me fault. Just wondering what was going on. Yeah, no. That's what happens sometimes. Welcome to the world of live. I should probably connect to that computer out there and make sure that I turned it off. Well, it's off now. I guess that's really all that matters. Yeah, because I got a notification to my phone that we were streaming. I'm like, I did not click go on that stream yet. I didn't click go. So, all right, we're cool. We're clean. We're awesome. Worst comes to worst, I just fix that stream. But no, we're here. It's good. And I believe I deleted that other stream. And then now let me also let Twitter know that we're live, because you always got to let Twitter know. Okay. Yeah. Looks like things are figured out. Things are figured out. Cool. All right, got a bunch of people here hanging out. Rob Angus here, Glenn Larson, Jellybomb267. Got the whole dang crew. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the first sale. You know, the thing that's hard. Apparently, like me trying to live stream. You guys know how this goes, right? You don't come here for the perfect streams. You come here because I'm going to screw something up inevitably, right? This is just a guarantee that Grant's going to mess something up. Anyways, so last week we talked about this build versus buy when Joel Driver says rocket launch. If we do have a rocket launch today, I don't have that set up on this computer. It's set up on the computer in the garage, so I have to reset it up here. Justin Miller says I come here for the articles, not the pictures. If that was the case, you would listen to us audio only. But you don't. Anyways, hi, everybody. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe. Like the stream if you haven't already. If you do want to support us, we have Patreon, YouTube channel member, and now we also have an option for PayPal, because both YouTube and Patreon take a fair bit. So if you want to support us financially, we have a $10 tier on Patreon, or on PayPal right now, that will get you into our Discord. It's a little more manual, but that's all right. Jellybom's asking how I'm doing. I'm doing okay. I woke up this morning. I saw that it was like 8:30, and I'm like, boy, I slept in. And then I looked at the calendar. Daylight savings time. I didn't sleep in. My body woke me up at the regular time that it wakes me up, around 8:30. Little bit earlier, sometimes 7:30 on the weekends. I'm kind of trained to sleep in a bit. Um, so yeah, that was interesting. Kind of freaked out, like, what's going on? And then I realized it's daylight savings, and I lost an hour of sleep. Cool. Although, if you're in a relationship, that is the best time to be doing the dirty, because then you last a whole extra hour longer. There you go, gentlemen. There's your shitty life pro tip of the day. Anyways, on subject. We're going to be talking all about getting that first sale, how to handle being told no. Because that is like one of the big problems in business is being told no and having to say no. It's tough. How should you be on Google? What about Yelp, Bing, others? How can you leverage contacts for sales and paid advertisements and the ones to look out for, and more? All this on the Making Awesome podcast. So, follow along, get subscribed, and all that kind of thing, because we're gonna get into it. I'm glad the gentlemen in the chat are enjoying that. Okay. So, let's talk about that first sale. That first sale is ever elusive, something that you will want when you're looking to build this business, right? Going from, as Pooch says, hobby to jobby, and now having to take things a little bit more seriously. It changes the way you look at things. It's no longer, I can do this. They need the help. We can make it happen. No. We are now having to look at things as, we are doing this for money. We have bills to pay. Yeah. So, it's a thing. Jelly Bomb says, sorry, I have to go. We are moving. I need to help my dad. Bye. Okay, bye. Hunts05 said, did I hear about Edutech's West Coast Rep Rap? I didn't, and I'm not going to go. We're doing enough traveling this year. I've already committed to the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest, committed to East Coast Rep Rap Festival, and I am trying to commit to the Sanjay Mortimer Festival, Rep Rap Festival. That is enough. Unless others would like to sponsor us to go to other festivals, because that's a lot of money for me to be burning this year. But yeah, first sales are super tricky because you land into this area of your feelings. It is one of the toughest things that a lot of you will go through. And so I still suffer with this, where you feel personally attached. So when somebody tells you no, or they walk right by you at a, farmer's market or whatever it might be, you end up feeling a little personally attacked. And it's not intentional. They're not doing it to spite you. It's normal. But when it's your baby and it's everything that you've worked on and it's your first public appearance, whether it's on, a social media platform or you're out in public, those cuts run deep, man. Those cuts can run real deep. And you might not start with a very thick skin. I promise by the time you're in on this, you're going to have some thicker skin, because you're going to have to get through, you're going to have to get through that kind of thing. Yeah, and as Gregory Pfeiffer says, first sales are super tricky when you were designing your own product to sell as well. Yeah, because if you don't have those design skills, you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs for a while. It's why we talk about outsourcing work to 3D Musketeers. It's why I say this. It's not just because we need the money, because we do. It's also because if you are trying to do something, do the one thing that you're really good at and outsource everything else. If you are really good at running 3D printers, but you suck at designing, hire a designer. And you can start on the the Fiverr, the Upwork, and all that, and you're going to likely get what you pay for. I recommend, of course, learning Fusion. You can take the time to learn that while you're outsourcing. It's totally acceptable in my book. Let me make sure. Did I start the recording on Zoom? I did. Okay, cool. We're good. I always gotta make sure I'm recording to the right platform. This is the ADHD, just like, because my brain's like, did you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I thought you did, but did you do it? Yes, I did. Tony is asking, does anyone use RepRat stuff on their printers? I think are you saying RepRap? I don't know. Anyways, damn it, it's Karen's here. 3D Medic Vince is here. Build on Sound says, I'm planning on starting an Etsy shop and just move from there. Got permission from a couple of people to sell their 3D models, so just going to try and save everything aside that I earn till I need it. RepRap. I mean, yeah, most of the machines that we use are based on RepRap because open source. If it is an open source 3D printer, it is likely somehow based upon the RepRap project. But the idea of RepRap is a machine that can self-replicate. So realistically, every 3D printer that's currently being produced has some basis in the RepRap community. So we'll have to do an entire podcast on that. Maybe I can get Joe Prusha to come in and talk about that. That would be a cool podcast to come and talk about the history. Or we do Adrian Boyer would be another awesome guest to talk about the history of RepRap. But getting that first sale is like the highest high on a mountain, and you will chase that dragon for the rest of your history in business because every single sale feels good. Even when you're a multi-million-dollar business, getting those sales, seeing those numbers, hitting those KPIs, key performance indexes, that kind of thing feels good. It tells you you're doing something right. But if you're going out there, you're putting your products out, and you're not getting sales, it might be time to reassess what you're doing, and more importantly, why. At the end of the day, your business is more to you than it is to anybody else, right? Nobody is going to care about your business the way that you do. That includes employees. They're not going to because it's not their business and you shouldn't expect them to. And at the end of the day, you need to understand that your business is yours. And if you treat it as though you're an employee, then you probably need to bring in a boss. So work on your business rather than in it. And I'm well aware this is an easier said than done thing. As someone that works in their business a lot of days of the week and is trying to work on it more and more days of the week, it is very much a pot calling the kettle black kind of scenario. But if you don't focus on running that business, the business will start to run you. And that is more of a problem than a lot of you may think. Burning the candle at both ends is acceptable for a short period of time. It very quickly eats into you and those around you to create a situation that is toxic for all parties involved and can ruin portions of your life. So when you do get that first high of getting that sale, make sure that you're keeping yourself planted, because getting a little too big for your britches too fast, it ends up in a situation where things just don't work out positively for anybody involved. Wolfman AI says, would it not be good to specialize it for a niche only and use that market? It absolutely is. You want to make sure that you're niching down, or niche, I guess. Some people are correcting me saying it's niche. Potato, okay? I know that only one of those is technically correct, but I think niche sounds better than niche. Especially, via speech. But I do believe that if you are trying to be like, all right, let's use some firearm terminology because I think most people will understand this. Are you trying to be a shotgun or are you trying to be a sniper rifle? You want the one shot, one kill, maybe two kills if you get the guy behind him, right? You're not just going to pepper an object with birdshot. You're not doing that. That's a bad way to do business. Now, as makers, often we will see where the business is coming from and look at modifying our target to fit that. That is completely okay as far as I'm concerned. It's what we continuously do at 3D Musketeers. While we have distinct target markets that we prefer to work in, if there are target markets that find us, that want to work with us, I'd be an idiot to ignore it. Build on Sound says I want to be a nuke. I feel that, but slow your roll, Kim Jong-un. It's fine. It's fine. Duff says I have an itch. I mean, probably. It wouldn't hurt. Anyways, niches are phenomenal to be in, Gregory Pfeiffer says. If you can progress and grow a niche, stay with it until growth gets stagnant. Yeah, that's the right move. But being told no, especially when you're doing outbound sales, right? The, hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to buy my product? No. 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 That quickly eats into you. It's why the idea of the sleazy salesman is a thing. Because the sleazy salesmen don't care about being told no. Their job is to take the no and turn it to a yes. And let me be very clear. Don't use that whole terminology and, and strategy in your personal life for dating. That's bad. That's how you end up on the news for all the wrong reasons. So don't do that. But the sleazy salesmen are a thing because they work. They work as well as hitting the like button. Yeah, it's a thing. And I will continue to tell you, even though some of you will say no. But, I'm also not forcing you to do things. This analogy is getting very out of hand very quickly. Anyways, you have to understand that not everybody's going to like your product. And if your target market is, 18 to 24-year-old females, don't go to a men's group and ask if they want to buy your product. They're not your target market. They don't care. So be careful about that. You got to make sure to pick your battles. As a business, you absolutely should be on Google. Depending on the type of business, Yelp may or may not be a good move. Yelp is a racket, to be very clear. Do not ever pay Yelp. They will call you. I have an entire, and you know what? I'll show it on my phone because it's way more fun to do that when I show you guys on my phone that it says Yelp do not answer. Okay? There. Those are all the random numbers that Yelp uses to call me to try to get me to use their paid services. Yelp is a rack. Oh, there's more of them. Excuse me. There's more of them. That's how many different numbers Yelp uses to call us. And every single time they call me, I add it to the phone as Yelp do not answer. Because all they're trying to do is get you to buy their ads. Yelp is a racket. All of a sudden, your 5-star reviews on Yelp will go away. You'll call them and ask what's going on, and they'll tell you, well, we did some AI recalibration bullshit, and we found that your 5-star reviews don't seem very valid. But this 1-star that you got, plenty valid. But if you buy our ads, we might be able to look at redoing that for you. It's literally a racket. They're extorting your business. So whenever clients come to us from Yelp, we tell them to stop using Yelp and connect with us via our website or Google, for that matter. If you are a restaurant, though, you kind of don't have a choice. You have to be on Yelp because that's where people go. As more of the small business community speaks out about the abuse of power that Yelp has over their users, I think we will push more people away from using Yelp, both as customers looking for products and as customers that are on their site. Like myself, we have a business with Yelp. I don't pay them because Yelp's terrible. So, don't use Yelp. Duff says he keeps getting harassed by those marketing businesses. They get confused when I tell them their advertising will be non-productive for us and that we don't advertise. Duff works in a particular type of trade business where word of mouth is the most valuable method of advertising. It is normally the most valuable method of advertising. Someone that has a phenomenal experience with you that tells 5 other people will generally result in at least 1 sale. That's damn good conversion. But realize it is incredibly complicated to get that, what we call a disciple, right? Ignore the biblical terminology of it, but it's a disciple. Those people will go to the end of the earth telling about your business. And the problem is, it is a lot easier to have a hater that leaves a 1-star review on your business and tells everybody how bad of a job you did, now putting you into damage control. On Google, it takes roughly 45 5-star reviews to negate a singular 1-star review. That is a lot. So when a business asks you to leave a 5-star review on Google or, share your experience, if it is anything other than 5-star, talk to them first to see if they can make something up for it. Because what you don't understand is that our Google rankings are directly related to that number. And it's why every customer that has a good experience with us, I ask, do you mind leaving a Google review? That helps us grow substantially and allows us to reach larger markets. Now that we've passed 50 5-star reviews, we are getting more traffic. Our traffic is up 16% month over month on Google. I have not adjusted our website at all. So unless somehow 16% more people are looking for 3D printing services, it is literally because Google is feeding our service to more people because we have a better review. So that's why I ask anybody that does business with us that has a good experience to leave a 5-star review, because it helps. But it's similar to sales, where the first time they might not respond. It is always good to do what's called a drip campaign, where you slowly feed them a little bit of information. They might make a sale, and then you slowly move forward into getting that bigger 5-star review. Because ultimately, I'd rather have a 5-star review than a $20 sale. It is worth way more to me than a $20 sale. And often, I've said, look, man, this is like a $10 part. Just leave me a review on Google and it's yours, right? No big deal. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. I've had people that will take the part, they won't leave us the review, and I'm like, oh, cool. That was a waste of time. But, it's for products like when we do charity work or community outreach is when I specifically will ask for 5-star reviews because I am losing money or minimally breaking even to do these parts. So the least somebody could do is scratch my back because I'm scratching theirs. A niche, if you will. Terrible. Geek Toy Box says, I've had a single call that came from Yelp, from my Yelp listing that turned into a customer in 10 years. Yeah, it's not often we get them either. Mad Cat says, Yelp, nice 5-star review you have there. Be a shame if something happened to it. Yeah. But on says, at my work, it is mandatory to advise about a survey at the end, but we are being forced to follow a script that is basically asking for a 10 score. I refuse to do this, and now I am admin only. See, we have a few of our staff that don't mind being customer-facing. A lot of the engineers, they don't like it. So, no problem. I will be the intermediary. That's kind of my job. I am the business owner. That is my job. But the ones that do like to be client-facing, this is where it's interesting. They are totally shameless about asking for 5-star reviews, asking for all of this, because if they don't get one, it's not a personal thing. They don't care. Because they don't care about the business like I do. Now, that's not to say the staff don't care about the business. They absolutely do. But they're not motivated in the same way. They want to see the business grow, because that ultimately means some of them I can poach from their day jobs, and a lot of them would very graciously appreciate that. We've had multiple of our staff express that. But it's not as easy as you think when it's your baby. right? It's like asking others for help. Some people are really, really good at it because they have no shame. Vast majority of us feel self-conscious about it because it forces us to be vulnerable and say that we can't do it on our own. For a lot of makers, we'd rather fumble around till we screw it up really bad and then ask for help than ask for help in the beginning. I'm not calling out myself or anybody in particular, but, if you feel personally attacked, that's on me, that's on you, not me. Excuse me. God, Grant, today. My whole day's weird, man. Okay? I woke up and it was not the time I was expecting. Okay, the whole day's weird. Geek Toy Buck says, Grant, be quiet until we hit 50 likes. I know it'll be hard for you, if not impossible. Wow. Dom, I thought I liked you. I thought we were friends. Spurluck says, your cat has time changes figured out. All she does is sleep. She's literally, look, seriously, she's got, the monitor's in the way. She's got her little paws tucked around her face. It's beautiful. And yes, the plastic is still on the back of my monitor, and there's nothing you can do about it. I guess the camera mount must have moved. I'll have to readjust it in a bit. Grant's night was foobarred thanks to the rocket and DST. Yeah, that's not bad. Tony D says Etsy is easy to set up, but getting in their search is not easy. Getting your first sale isn't easy. Yeah, it is. It is really tough, and it's why we often recommend bring in friends to be customers. Have a couple friends, be like, hey, if a couple of you want to play difficult customers, by all means, it's good to have that training before you go out to, like, the mom groups on Facebook. I'm not calling out specific mom groups, but good Lord have mercy, some of them are rough. Keep your distances. But it is a complex scenario, right? And you might get a phone call from Yelp or see that, if you spend $500, Google gives you an extra $400 in Google ad credit, not knowing anything about PPC or pay-per-click, or, how Yelp ads work, which is PPI, I believe, pay per interaction. It's the whole world of advertising is a dangerous and slippery slope because the budget that you set is not the budget they go with. Often, especially on Facebook, they'll go upwards of 50% over your budget. Why? I don't know, because they can. And there's nothing you can do to stop them. Welcome to the real world, homie. The world of advertising and marketing is not a world that laymen are supposed to understand. It is designed specifically to require you to need other people. If you do want to take the time and learn it yourself, by all means you can. But chances are you're not going to be as successful as hiring a marketing agency. The problem is, said marketing agency will likely be taking a fair bit of profit from you, right? Because they have to pay for their team as well. So you're paying quite a bit more. When we worked with a marketing agency, it was $2,000 a month, and they were doing, I think it was $400 in Google ads for that price. And when it was not working. To be clear, it wasn't working. They didn't understand our business. We transitioned them over to do writing for us. That wasn't working either. They didn't understand the business. So we cut ties. It happens. Christy is asking what was the return. The return was not positive. I will be honest about that. The return was not positive. It happens, and these were lessons learned, where I very quickly learned that it makes 0 sense, absolutely 0 sense, for us to be utilizing paid advertising. Because if you're working in a market that has a very thinly defined target market, which ours does, it's incredibly well defined, that target market is not generally looking for your specific service. It is an issue that we deal with in the 3D printing community, is that the lack of education that exists in this community, and specifically to the individuals on the outside, make it incredibly difficult for 3D printing businesses to build any brand recognition without spending tens of thousands of dollars. Because at the end of the day, if you can't basically force these ads in front of the type of people that you want, you're not going to succeed in building not only that first sale, but continual sales. It's not just about that first sale. The first sale is the hardest. I would say it's arguably harder to keep a client coming back for more than it is one that just buys from you once and then never comes back. Because the person that buys from you once has a much higher acquisition cost and a much lower cost of, a much lower return to the business. Someone that comes back and orders from you multiple years in a row, multiple times a month, multiple times a week, is totally worth spending that extra money on because they have a longer customer cycle and therefore have a better value in most cases. So be aware of the actual value of the customers you're going after. If it's an impulse buy and you never hear from them again, you should not be spending $20, $30, $40 to get every customer acquisition. It is a business at the end of the day. You got to make sure that your costs don't outweigh your revenue. If it does, you're running a nonprofit and you're not even getting the fun tax breaks that come with it. So be careful about that one. So let me look at the business of the YouTube channel, right? Our average monthly expenses right now is about $1,500. That it does not include my time. If we include my time, it's about $2,500 worth of expenses on the channel. In the past 28 days, the channel has brought in a little over $500. Yeah, it's that rough. At 15,000 subscribers, we're bringing in like $550, I think with yesterday's stream about $600 on just YouTube. Patreon is another $250 a month. So we're barely covering half of our expenses. So we look at the numbers, specifically subscriber numbers and then amounts of views. So we can easily break down what it costs per day to run the channel. It's pretty easy math. It's roughly $50 a day to run the channel. 30 days in a month, $50 a day, $1,500, right? We need to look at how many subscribers are we getting and how many views are we getting. So like yesterday we gained 140 subscribers. So that means the average acquisition cost of a subscriber was what? Just above 33 cents. And we look at the average cost of a view. We did 24,500 views or so yesterday. So again, maybe what is that, 20 cents a view? No, like 2 cents a view. It's very, very little money, right? And every one of those views is a potential customer that could be a client of 3D Musketeers, right? So, I guess if you're going to talk about this, Grant, you should probably just pull the real metrics to tell people because that makes the most sense, right? Let's tell people real numbers. Yesterday, we did 22,786 views, for those that are wondering. Yesterday, we did 142 subscribers and had roughly $50 of hard expenses. When we include my time with the soft expenses, right, I was streaming for almost 4 hours yesterday. I like to bill my time at $150 an hour. So we lost a lot of money yesterday. Our costs yesterday went through the roof. But we did get some donations and assistance on the stream. I think it was a total of $130 total with now PayPal as well. So yeah, it worked out well. I was happy. But it is why creators have Patreons. It's why they look for sponsors. Because even at 15,000 subscribers, we're at currently 15,464 subscribers. It is a very, very difficult business to be in. And I did get the cell cam going. That was priceless, Duff said. Yeah. For those that weren't watching yesterday, there was supposed to be a rocket launch, and it was Relativity Space's Terran 1, which is a fully 3D printed rocket. Like, the entire body is 3D printed. It's something like 85% 3D printed parts. It's pretty cool. And like 10 minutes before the launch, we're like, screw it. Let's find a way to connect my phone to OBS so I can walk outside to show people the launch. TLDR, we got it connected. It had a couple of tech issues, and the rocket never went up. There you go. Tony said, you actually made money yesterday. I didn't. So when we look at the fact that we were streaming for almost 4 hours, there's a massive expenditure of my time, which I could have been doing a myriad of other things, including filming videos, that I now have to do later today. Because when the stream ended, I did something that I wanted to do for a while, which was mount my saw to the stand. And if you're in our Patreon Discord, you saw that I did that, and I now am able to start doing woodworking projects again. Because we actually had a lot of people interested in the woodworking projects, so maybe we'll do more makery things. Matt Cat said, if you haven't hit that like button, now is a good time. Grant is rambling again. Grant always rambles. This is why you all come here. You come here for the weird rambles. But yes, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. It's literally why we say it. Here's the funny thing. We see an average of a 40% drop in interactions when we don't talk about it. Isn't that terrible? That if we don't remind people to like videos and comment, they don't do it. Because in our mind, we're here to watch content. We're not here to interact. And it's why I make a personal thing of whenever somebody comments on the channel that I try to reply to them. Because I want them to not only feel heard, but feel welcome and enjoy their stay in 3D Musketeers or whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah. Anyways, like Mad Cat said, I'm spiraling. We need to bring the train back on course. We can't have another train derailment, although that would make it on the news. Is that in bad taste? Might be. So yeah, basically, avoid Yelp. It's a racket. Don't give them your money. Hell, if you can avoid them, don't put your business on it, because they're going to call you. They're going to bother you. It's going to suck. I'm sorry. Only bad taste if you're in Ohio, Spurlock says. Oh, geez. We actually had a pretty rough one here in Florida. It was a tanker full of propane. It did not explode, so that's a plus. Duff says, I find it insane when people don't hit the like button on giveaway streams. Yeah, it's why we haven't done one. That, and it seems like a lot of work that I really don't want to do. Justin Miller says, I don't think Yelp has actually called me yet. Do you have your phone number on them? Because if you don't have your phone number on Yelp, they can't call you because they don't know how. But if you give them your phone number when you do your Yelp page, yeah, no dice. So when you look at marketing and advertising, there are a few different ways to do it, right? The pay per click, pay per interaction, pay per eye, right? When you look at doing ads on something like Reddit or YouTube, that is all pay per, is it interaction? I guess it's technically an interaction, right? If you watch an ad for more than 5 seconds on YouTube, the advertiser pays YouTube. That's the interesting thing. Advertisers have figured out that they can pay significantly less money and still get good advertisement if they keep it less than 5 seconds. YouTube will charge you significantly less. If you want a longer ad, you pay more. And then ultimately, the creator gets a larger sum of that, right? Bill and Sound says pay-per-view. Kind of. It's kind of like pay-per-view, but it is dependent on how long that view lasts for. So there's a bit of a caveat that exists with the pay-per-view system. So, yeah. Oh, apparently it is 1 year of 3D printing. Oh, and wow, Zombie is doing a 1 year stream. That's cool. Good for you, dude. Justin Miller says, I get scam Google listings and human malware refund calls multiple times a day, however. Yeah, I feel that. 3D Musketeers need a catchy jingle. I mean, isn't making awesome or something along those lines reasonably catchy enough? Like, what do you guys want from me? I'm not a marketing expert. The point I do want to get to on the marketing side, though, is look at influencer marketing. I know, as someone that is technically an influencer, I hate that terminology. I prefer to say content creator. Influencer marketing is legitimately one of the best ways to spend money in today's day and age to capture a target market. Think about it. Every single content creator out there knows their exact audience. I can see age ranges, genders, whether or not they've chosen a gender, where they're located in the world, and even further, where in that country they're located. I can get deep into these analytics and figure out exactly who our target market is. It's kind of creepy, the amount of information that content creators get. But what that means is that if you know your target market is most likely on this particular YouTube channel or in this particular Instagram, right? Let's go with a pretty easy target, right? Moms in their mid to late 30s, okay? Those are brand new moms generally. Maybe they're on their second kid. Oftentimes, they have taken some time off of work, or they have opted to switch to a stay-at-home mom role, while they either A, are able to work from home, or B, have either a secondary source of income, a spouse or significant other that is able to bring in that income. Oftentimes, moms have disposable income. So, if a mom happens to be your target market, you would go to a content creator, maybe on Instagram, because moms spend time on Instagram. Maybe you go to Pinterest. Maybe you spend time on the mom YouTube channels, right? All of this, you can get so much more for so much less. The kind of offerings that we are providing to people right now, so like the numbers that I've sent out to companies, we're talking per ad read, sub $300 per ad read, a 30 to 60 second ad read that is on our channel forever. That on a day basis, our channel gets 20-ish thousand views a day. So that means your particular ad for X amount of money has the potential to reach this level of audience. Okay. A 30-second ad read, let's just call it for $300 because it's just easier math, is amazing money for me. But when you look at the opportunity that can be in front of, even on one video, 1,000 people, right? Our average videos get about 1,000 to 1,500 views in the first 24 hours. If that audience is your exact target market, you have such a better chance, right? It's like these people that are getting really pissed off at the at the Tennessee governor that banned drag, and they're doing GoFundMes for billboards. They're placing the billboards on his way to work and on his way to church. So not only does he see it every single day, everybody that works with him likely sees it, as does everybody in his congregation. They're going to see that billboard. Why? Because you know your target audience. You know where they're going to go. That's the level of petty that I wholeheartedly support, to be very clear. That is the absolute perfect level of petty. But influencer marketing is one of those methods where you can spend very little money and get hardcore results, especially the smaller creators. Now, you might say, oh, well, why would I go with Sam Prentice? Because I don't want to use I worry about using myself as examples because I don't think that's fair. It feels way too much like self-promotion. So I'm going to use Sam. Sam's a good guy. And if you are looking to sponsor a YouTube channel, Sam's probably a good channel sponsor. Sam is at about 9,000 subscribers. Why would I want to spend money with the real Sam Prentice versus spending money with Joel Telling? Joel Telling, or Angus from Maker's Muse, has 1 million subscribers. Why would I want to spend money with the real Sam Prentice versus spending money with Maker's Muse? I'll tell you why. Because even though Maker's Muse has a larger audience, they're nowhere near as hyper-targeted as somebody like Sam or somebody like us. Because our market is smaller, therefore our market is more valuable. It's a really weird one. So when you look at Maker's Muse, right, they probably have a wide range of ages. When we look at 3D Musketeers, our age range pretty much is from 18 to 45. That's it. There's some beyond it. I'm pretty sure it's just my parents, and there's some under it. It's probably kids that like to make fun of me in the comments. There is more value when you know those exact ranges. And sure, you'll get more eyes on your content with somebody like a Maker's Muse, but are those eyes the kind of eyes that you want buying your product? You gotta think about where your product is going to be. Karen, damn it, it's Karen. For instance, Karen is a Twitch streamer. Karen does work on social media. If you were to sponsor Karen, she knows exactly what her market is. She knows exactly who it is. And so it's easy for her to go to a company and say, this is my market. While I don't get a ton of views, this is precisely what they are, what they're incredibly interested in. And I believe that there's good, money for you there. While yes, a company might get more money up front from a larger creator, right? They'll have more people actually going through and purchasing a product. You get better value from the small creators because they're not just one-time sales. A lot of times, like, I really want to get Diamondback, the Diamond Nozzle Company, to be a sponsor of the channel. They're expensive nozzles, but if we could cut a 10% discount code in an ad read, I bet there's a non-trivial portion of you that would go and buy a nozzle from that's made of diamond because they are damn good. They don't pay me to say that. I wish they did. That's the kind of ad read that I can get behind because I know that we've talked about them enough that people have seen the quality. We still get comments on those videos. And so there's amazing value there for people to say, okay, well, I can buy from them and I'm going to get a better deal by utilizing your coupon code. And when you use coupon codes, this is affiliate marketing now, the company is able to track where those sales come from. So let's say someone uploads your code to Honey or one of the other coupon websites. The company will know that that ad or that, that discount code did not come from the platform they were expecting. So let's say we're paid to push it out on YouTube and Twitter, right? The two big platforms that we're on, maybe Instagram. They can see where those clicks come from. So if those clicks come from anywhere other than YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and they can't find a post, a lot of times means that this customer is coming from somewhere else and that code has been shared. And so it's no longer somebody that is doing it because they saw your ad. It's because they got the discount. Hilariously, though, doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Yes, they're losing a bit of profit, but those are people that would have never bought the product likely in the first place. So there you go. Influencer marketing is a little bit of a weird one. But when done correctly, there's a lot of value that presents there. I've missed a lot of comments because I have been going, and I wanted to get that entire thing out. Never Let the Machines Win says, the best level of petty is a guy with a cowboy hat who is famous for driving's 43 race car. Oh, Tom Petty. Richard Petty? I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. And then I realized it's a NASCAR driver. I'm like, the only NASCAR driver I know is like Dale Earnhardt because Florida. Joel says, oh shit, I'm too old for this content. Like I said, we have older viewers, but the vast majority of them, here, Grant, you're talking about things without giving actual metrics. So here, let's look at actual metrics. In the last 28 days, 23.4% of our views have come from the United States, 9.8% from India, 7% from Indonesia, 4.5% from the UK, 3.9% from Germany. I can look at more, but I'm not going to. 89.5% of the views in the past 28 days are been from people who are not subscribed. 10.5% are subscribed. 25.3% are female. 74.7% are male. 13 to 17 years old is 3.2%. 18 to 24 years old is 27.6%. 25 to 34 years old is 33.6%. 35 to 44 is 19.2%. 45 to 54 is 9.6%. 55 to 64 is 4.7%, and 65 and over is 2.1%. Those are our actual channel metrics. 100% the actual metrics that I see. I can also see that people that are watching our content are watching SolidWorks, Views for You, which is an interesting one, sure. The Next Layer, interesting. CryptoJacks, and Teaching Tech. Those are the top 5 channels that other people are watching. I can see videos that they clicked on to get to us. There are so many metrics that we are able to see. We've gotten 216,000 unique views in the past 28 days. Also, $1.49 for the rainbow from Zombie Hedgehog. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And we've gained 2 members. I didn't know that we gained 2 members. Interesting. Hey, welcome to the new members. And when we look at the channel, so 216,000 unique views, but total we've had 321.8 thousand views. So there's quite a few returning views. €5 from Karen. Although I thought it would have been pounds, but I guess you're in Ireland, so maybe not. Thanks, Karen. Good job. See, this is fun. We get to share weird metrics that Google tells me because it's a little too deep in there. Why would you say the Next Layer is an interesting channel to watch? I don't know, man. Jonathan is an interesting character. Right? That's Jonathan Levy. I'm pretty sure it's Jonathan Levy. If it is, I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah, it is. Because I have a call with him on Monday to discuss some things. Anyways, moving forward. So yeah, influencer marketing, kind of a big deal. Because let's say you just put out a television ad. One, you're going to spend way more money to do it. Because these companies will want you to pay per view. And they know the views they get, and they might tell you your target audience. But let's say you're advertising on the late night news. 85% of those views are people that just have their television on in their house that are either falling asleep to it or it's background noise. Those are not views that matter. That's why these micro influencers have such a value to people that are starting out their businesses, because the views are heavily curated for a very, very finite target audience. The larger you get, the broader spectrum your audience gets with it. So because of this, sometimes the smaller creator is better than the big one, because that curation of a finite level of content matters a lot more when you are trying to get those initial sales than the broad spectrum. And of course, you spend less money with a smaller creator than you will with a bigger creator. That's just statistics. But don't be afraid to get numbers from people. If there is a YouTube channel that you watch or an Instagram that you follow that you'd want to do some product placement on, there is no reason you shouldn't reach out to them. The worst they're going to tell you is, we don't accept sponsorships. Thanks anyways. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be ready for someone to tell you no. Because just like you have the right to say no, they do as well. Sorry. Gotta cool down here. Tony D said, I was told making a TikTok video is good advertising. If you keep up with it. To be clear, we don't do TikTok. We have a staff member that posts videos TikTok for me. I do not have a TikTok. I don't even know the login information for it. I have no access to it. That is because we work with ITAR and CMMC. And, yeah, China, basically. Tony says 3D printing is not a good business for marketing. It reminds people that they can either do it themselves or they could get their friends to do it. I disagree. Actually, I heavily disagree with you. Because it depends on what you're trying to market. If you are the type of person that makes upgrades for 3D printers, there is a wide majority of people that will look at something and say, that looks like a 10-hour print. You're telling me it's $20? I'll spend the $20. There'll be others that say, nope, I'll make this myself. The people that say I will make it myself or I don't need this exist in every industry. Yes, in the 3D printing industry, it is a lot higher for the ones that say, I'll just make it myself. That doesn't mean that you should write off the industry as a bunch of people that don't matter, right? We have seen a lot of companies do incredibly well with advertising in 3D printing, right? Because they have a complementary product. Complementary products are where you make money. Oh, no. Oh, okay, there we go. My encoding got overloaded. That was weird. Sorry. Hopefully that's not happening enough. My computer got upset. How upset are you right now, computer? Ah, your drives are upset. Are we good now? No, we're not. Why are we upset? Hold on. I'm trying to figure out why we're upset right now. It's NVIDIA doing something. Okay, whatever. Sorry if we dropped some frames there, guys. Was not my intention. So, complementary product. The Politician. It's why we're working on it. I know. It feels a lot like vaporware. I have not had a lot of time to work on it. I will say, this is the latest revision, and that's all you get to see. That one is not going... I can tell you that one's not going to work because the heater is way too low resistance, and it's going to fry things. So, yeah. But I have new ones coming in. This is now revision 6 or revision 7. So... But the Politician is a product that we are not going to release open source. It will be closed source. We're going to keep it internal. It is a filter and heater for chambers. So it filters and produces hot air. Like a Politician. That's the joke. But again, we do it because there will be people that say, I'll just do it myself. I don't need to buy your product. But at a $50 price point, a lot of you are going to say, yeah, no, I'll just buy theirs. Right? Tony says, I work on elevators every day. I've been offered to make equipment they can't get anymore. I'd be very cautious about making equipment like that. Especially like mission critical stuff. But I hear the elevator industry has its ups and its downs. That would be the time the editor does the zoom on into me, but we don't edit these, so I just sit here with a weird look on my face because I am weird. This is what I do. But if you do run an ad, and Zombie says no. If you do run an ad and it goes well, then when the ad finishes, your sales drop off again. Those are one and done customers. You want to look for products that end up making sense. And if you do get a decent return, run the ad again. There's no reason not to, right? Run the ad again. Because if you are making a good return on your investment, there's no reason not to. Zombie for the $1.49 nope sign. Appreciate it, bud. Appreciate it. But not only do you have to get used to hearing no, you have to get used to saying it. When you're a starter business, you will absolutely start with the mentality of, if the money is there, I don't care. And that is okay, because at some point, you got to pay your bills. But when you get large enough that you don't have to worry about that anymore, you need to make sure that you start niching down, getting into the proper industries, right? Like if someone came to us and said, hey, would you make this part for me? You do know it's a $200 part, right? Well, that's too expensive. I said, well, then you're not my customer. A gentleman sent us a picture of a gear that he wanted us to remake from a tape deck. I'm like, that's going to be probably a half-hour design, $75, $150 an hour currently to design, and maybe a $10 print, so you're done for less than $100. He's like, that's too much money. I could buy a new one of these for $20. Why isn't 3D printing so much cheaper? I said 3D printing is cheap. What isn't cheap is the design side of things. And if you don't have a design, you got to pay an engineer to make it. And engineers, those are not cheap. Well, how can I make a design myself? I said, you can learn CAD. Well, I don't have time for that. I said, well, then you have to pay somebody, or you got to find another way to do it yourself. So we get a lot of those customers, people that are expecting it to be 10, 15, $20 total, that have nothing but an idea. And that's not the case, right? Mad Cat USA, basic support, 7 months. Thank you, sir. More dad jokes, he says. I'm not a dad, so I don't really have a ton of dad jokes, but I'm in my 30s, so I guess it just starts to come with the territory. I don't know. Tony D said, is there a larger group that do 3D printing part-time than those that do it FT for a business? Oh, full-time for a business. Oh, part-time than those who do it full-time for a business. I would say there's a lot more people that do it part-time because it's pretty easy to, design something when you get home from work, send it to a printer, it runs overnight and part of the day the next day, and you go to your job, you come home, parts waiting for you when you get home, you box it up, you ship it out, right? It is pretty easy to run a 3D printing side job. But then you have income, right? When you make that, because then if you don't get any business through your side hustle, it doesn't matter because you have a side hustle and you have a full-time job. So really it's like your part-time becomes the beer money or the fun money. When you're doing it full-time, hardcore, this is your source of income, right? You got to make sure you've got everything aligned. But this also brings back to the don't jump into a lake without first knowing how deep it is. Don't quit your day job until you have enough sales to give yourself 6 to 8 months of runway with this new gig. Because if you just drop your good paying day job or even mediocre paying day job for a 0 paying business, you've got a problem. Because now you have no money, you have no income, and then we start talking about burn rates, which is the amount of money that you're spending every day, every week, every month, and what that looks like until you run out of money. That's a problem. There is nothing more dangerous than someone that is burning through cash very quickly. Because when they realize it, if they don't realize it, when they do realize it, they're gonna start to get desperate. And desperation leads to very, very, very bad business. Just look at Silicon Valley Bank. Slaps the Ender 3 Pro and tells his boss he's quitting, Duff says. Oh, gosh. Never Let the Machines Win says, I have had the talk. Buy $1,000 printer, spend 70 years learning it, 20 plus years learning design, or pay me $100. Your choice. Yep. Honestly, though, people that instantly scoff at a price, I try to educate them as much as I can without making them feel like dicks. Because what they've done is they've kind of insulted me in the process by devaluing the amount of work that we do. But it's because they don't understand what it takes. And so instead of just saying no, get out of here, it's no, but here's why, right? You might think that, 3D printers are coming down in price, and that means the materials are coming down in price, which they absolutely are. But 80 to 90% of your cost goes into that design. Here's what it takes to do design. You talk about it. And while that does take up a bunch of your time, for someone that is obviously not going to be your customer, it enables them to teach somebody else, and it enables them to be better read, better understood, and better and more knowledgeable when they come back. I have had many people that I've had to tell no to first and say, hey, if there's any future products that you have going on, let us know. We'd love to be able to help. And then they eventually come back and say, yeah, actually, I went back and did my research, called some competitors. They always call competitors. And everyone told me the same thing. You were the first one to tell me. You were the one that was the most honest, and I appreciated the way that you did it. So I'll work with you. Love that. Can't hate it. Cannot hate it. XOSA says, if you have time to watch TV, play golf, or read the newspaper, you can learn anything, including CAD. Yeah, people value leisure time a lot. I wish I could, but my body just doesn't let me. I am always on this, 10,000 different ideas going on at once. I have another gimbal here because I want to do something with it for the channel. Things like it's got a follow focus control. So now when we're doing B-roll, I can actually dial in and dial back so I can do that nice rack focus look. These are things I will be utilizing in upcoming videos for B-roll. Why? Because I think it's a technique that can get us people that follow along our content more, right? The more people watch, the more ads they get served, the more money we make. Business, right? But remember, I'm not just a content creator. We have 3D printers. And while you don't see any of the ones running behind me, it is not because we have no work right now. Actually, most of the work that we have is covered by non-disclosure. And starting this year, we produced a policy regarding non-disclosure parts because we do make so much content. The 4 Prushas behind me, although you can really only see 3 because there's a tower of filament blocking one of them. We will not do parts that have NDAs on the machines behind me. We have other machines. They exist for a reason. We will do those parts on those other machines because we don't want those designs, even a blurry image of it, getting out. That comes down to honor. And while technically the camera's not high enough quality that you guys could pick off what we're doing in the background, it is still something that I feel some type of way about and want to make sure that our customers understand that while we do have an entire marketing and media side of the company, we do respect their non-disclosures and we do respect their time and their value. So you will see less and less things going on behind me. It happens. But yes, as Mike from Never Let the Machines Win says, NDAs are great. I hate NDAs. I hate everything about NDAs. I think they're terrible. So that whole saying no process is a bit rough. Just like when I tell people to like the video, some of you will just say no. I say, no, go like the video. It's important because it shows YouTube they should serve this to more people. So if you're watching and haven't liked the video, please do. And if you aren't subscribed, fix that because it'd be great. Dammit, Karen says he can't tell us about the NDAs. I can tell you that an NDA exists. I cannot tell you about the project. But saying no is important, right? Knowing what companies, what people, what types of businesses best fit you and what you can do, and having people that you can send them to if they're not a good fit for you is valuable. So where we are out here, we've got a group of people that all do 3D printing, right? There's a few of us that do 3D printing professionally, and we trade work around because I have a special set of skills, they have a special set of skills, and we work together. It's more valuable for us to work together than it is for us to compete. And there are certain markets that's like, hey, if you get someone that does this, You send it to this guy because that's his market. It's not yours. You don't touch it. And vice versa. They send work over to me that they don't touch. And then there's the one competitor that nobody likes, and we just send them all the bad work. Don't be that person. If you like Grant's kitty, give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up for the cat. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I wake you from your slumber? You're just going to go back to sleep. We both know it. Go back to sleep. It's fine. I know, it's tough being you. It's really tough being you. It's so hard. Sleeping all day, eating whenever you want. It's so hard. And then stealing my food all the time. And you ripped a hole in my trash bag last night. Pain in the ass. Magga says, if you don't hit the like button, I'm just going to keep spamming the channel asking you to hit the like button. That might be some weird reverse psychology stuff, you know. If you didn't know, that slow blink she's giving you is a kitty kiss. I don't know if it's that or she's just planning my demise. I think it's option 2. Justin Miller says, something must be off. I only show 5 likes. Dude, refresh. We have 42 likes and currently 83 people concurrently watching. So that's kind of cool. Excuse me. So what about these platforms to sell your products, right? Like Etsy. Getting your first sale on Etsy is really tough. And I highly recommend you ask friends and family to buy from Etsy. Etsy is very difficult to stand out. We've covered how to stand out on Etsy and other platforms like that in the past. But on Etsy, man, it's a different operating standard. There's so much more that you have to do to get it right on Etsy. So be careful. Ronnie's asking about Facebook Marketplace. We see some people advertising there. Oh, that's a big kitty stretch. Oh, what a good stretch. Okay, good night. We see some people advertising there. There was a guy locally advertising for $35 an hour CAD. So I just messaged him saying, send me your portfolio. And he's like, what? I said, I'm hiring CAD people. He said, I don't work for other people. I said, much to your misunderstanding, you do. And if you'd like to make $35 an hour, assuming your work is worth it, I'll pay you that if you just send me a resume, and I'll feed you more work than you could ever know. He never responded to me. His loss, not mine. Mind you, I did use a burner account. I have a couple of different Facebooks. I have like my actual personal Facebook, but then I have ones that we use when we contact people on like Facebook Marketplace because I don't need them seeing my connection to the company. Because then my negotiation goes out the window. Oh, he's a CEO. Well, you know, it's a bullshit title. You know it, I know it, so does everybody else. Zombie says, if I'm going to sell custom items, would it be best to add a store to my website or start with Etsy? The answer is yes. Do both. There's no reason not to do both. The store on your website will take a lot less fees, but you'll have a harder time getting sales over to that. Working with Etsy, they do a lot of advertising for you, right? They show up naturally higher in the food chain because they have more business and people search for Etsy. They do that stuff. And as Mike from Never Let the Machines Win says, seasonal, right? There are seasonal businesses that exist solely around the holidays to produce parts for the holidays, and then they go dormant. And that's okay. If that's you, do it. And as Roddy says, good CAD personnel is expensive AF. Yeah, no kidding. We have amazing CAD personnel. They just have a lot of other things going on in their lives because they're not mine full time. They work for other people full time. Ronnie says, use one color or multiple options with extra fee on the other colors. That's up to you. If you don't stock the color, I would absolutely add an extra fee on it. But if you are going to offer extra colors, it would behoove you to have at least one or two of them printed in every single color. And you can then have Manual counters. I see people use digital counters as well to just hit a button every time you get a sale. So it shows you how many of that individual color that you've sold. Colors that don't sell well, they get kicked. You sell those colors at a discount, and then you never offer that color again. That's simple. And if someone wants it in that color, make them pay a bunch extra to get it. Or tell them to paint it. Chris C says, can you use Etsy to point to your website for additional products? I mean, I'm sure you could, but I am fairly certain that is against Etsy's terms of service. So, you know, don't. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, if there's one thing that you'll learn the hard way, it's not to violate the terms of service of other websites, because they'll just kick you off. Joel Driver goes with the Henry Ford method, any color as long as it's black. I will say the big colors that we get here, white, in order. White, black, gray, red, blue. In order. Don't know why red and blue are so popular, but they are. And that means I will be there to provide you with red and blue should you need it. Those are colors that we keep, in stock often. Mike says Etsy frowns upon self-promotion off their platform. Of course they do, because they're spending money to advertise for you to just steal business from them. They make money when you make money. That's how Etsy works. No orange. Orange is not in the top 5. I wish it was. So then you look at leverage. Okay. So to get those first sales, you might have... So a friend of mine who's working on a product, their cousin plays for the Detroit Lions. Like, not an amazing team, but, nothing to shake a stick at. Still professional sports, right? They have a very substantial following on social media. One little position, and their product fits well with the sports category. So one little position from that individual on a social media platform would kill it, would absolutely kill it for sales. But they're hesitant because they don't want to abuse that power. I said, just ask them. Turns out the cousin was waiting to be asked because they wanted to help, but they didn't want to be the person coming in saying, I've got all this, social media prowess, you should send it to me, right? They needed that reach out. And don't be like the company that represented Frozen that reached out to us the other day that wanted $100. They wanted to pay me $100 for 2 videos that I had to film, edit, and get to them within 10 days of receiving the product. That was not a review that utilized any one of Frozen's printers that I could get for free. So we could get the Sonic Mega 8K for free, plus $100 to film and edit 2 videos. Go to hell. It's not... Buddy, you got to add another 0 onto that before I'm even considering it for dedicated videos. Get the hell out of here. Anyways. Yeah, like, when you go to people, make sure that your numbers are reasonable. Because if your numbers aren't reasonable, they're just never going to talk to you again. And you end up getting blacklisted pretty quickly, right? So further, those contacts can be valuable, right? I had something made. I don't want to go too far into it because you guys haven't seen it, and the recipient is Amber. She hasn't seen it. But when I give it to Amber, we will show it on the channel because the person that made it is amazing and they were incredibly affordable, and I want to bring them more business. They did not ask me to do this. I'm doing it because I think their work is damn good, and you guys will get to see it. I think Amber is going to get it sometime in the next couple of days. We'll see. I'm trying to plan things. But, that's where this person did not think that there was a leverage that they could have done. But I said, hi, I also have a 15,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I am totally cool with showing off your work there, if that's fine. They're like, yeah, absolutely. Actually, that'd be fine. I paid them full price. But I want to help them out. So we're going to show people what it is. And I have a feeling quite a few of you will buy from them. not because they're going to pay me anything, because they're not, but because their work is really good. I like to advertise for people, and a lot of times I don't even get paid for it, that I believe have value. Because at the end of the day, there are people out there that are struggling, that have amazing talent, that all they need is a little impetus to get them moving in the right direction. Then they can turn that hobby or that kind of sort of whatever into an actual career. And I want nothing more than for everybody out there to follow their passion and turn it into a career. Even if that is traveling, there's enough space out there to be a travel blogger and that kind of thing that you do have an opportunity to turn that hobby into an actual profession. That's kind of cool. And then you get to write off all that stuff, which is even more fun. And Tony said I paid 1,100 Canadian dollars to win a metal detector that never came. I mean, that's why you use credit cards, I guess. I don't know. But yes, that's a phishing scam. Where, oh, I guess it'd more be man in the middle. It's a scam where they intercepted, made you think you were going to eBay. You weren't. You might have, if you chose friends and family, you're screwed. If you chose goods and services, you get your money back. Zerna says Grant got the marble statue of himself in imitating David. No. No, leaves are not that small here in Florida. Love it. But yeah, look. At the end of the day, you got to look and see how much money you have to burn. When you're just starting a business, look at your expenses and say, all right, I've got $150 a month power bill. I've got $100 a month gas bill. I've got $50 a month water bill. I don't know. I have a well, so I really only have an electricity bill. We don't have gas out here, so it's literally just an electricity bill. And I have a $100 internet bill. So let's call it $600 for your bills. Rent is going to be another, because I'm going to be realistic, $2,000. So $2,750 all said and done for just your base living. Rounded up to $3,000 for gas and food. If you're not able to make at least $5,000 a month, it's not time for you to move. It's not time for you to move on. So getting that first sale might mean understanding where you fit. Whether you do fit the full-time business or you better fit the part-time hobbyist, and understand there's nothing wrong with either. Just because you're not making enough money to do it full-time does not make you any greater or lesser than me. It does not make you any greater or lesser than others. I will tell you, we've had a historically slow year, right? We are not net profitable right now, but that's okay. It's March, no big deal. There's a lot more months to go. There's a lot more year to go. And I've got some really cool things coming up. In less than a month, I get to travel to another state. You guys are going to come along with me. And we're going to be doing some work with probably one of the more famous things I've ever worked with. So we'll bring you guys along for that. I'm very excited, and I hope you all will join me in that journey. Oh, damn it, as Karen says, kitty litter, another 6K. That's fair. That's fair. Especially with this one. But there's nothing wrong with being part-time and bringing in that beer money. If you have a hobby, like Karen loves Harley Quinn, right? Karen can look at selling models to pay for filament so that she can make models for herself and then sell other copies of those models. She can look at using that money to buy memorabilia. She can look at, all these things. Our editor, Andrew, loves video games. So if he wanted to do a side hustle of doing something, he could easily spend that money on buying video games, buying tools to help create video games, buying a better computer to play the video games faster, maybe to edit videos faster. There are, because he never watches these. That's the great thing. I can say whatever I want about him. He never watches the podcast. Love you, Andrew. Um, but there's a lot of value that being a part-timer provides. When you go full time, you absolutely have to change the way you look at things, right? The $20 job is not reasonable anymore. That job needs to be $200 because you now need to make 5 grand a month or you're not going to survive, right? And every month that you don't at least cover your expenses, which in the case of this was $3,000, you are losing money and your burn rate goes up. And if you're making less and less and less and less money every month, what you had was a very successful hobby and not a successful business. And I hate to say that because it hurts my soul, because there are months where I'm like, is this business even an actual business? And then there are months like, oh yeah, nope, this is actually, yep, this is a business. Yep, we're firing on all cylinders. Understand that businesses are cyclical. You will have good months, you'll have bad months. Even YouTube is cyclical. We have good months, we have bad months, we have crazy months, we have slow months. That's okay. As long as you understand there's an ebb and flow that comes with it all, then you're golden. You're absolutely golden. Just be aware of it because it can sneak up on you very fast and become a problem that you won't notice until it's too little, too late. Michael Wigginton says, I love being a part-time hobbyist. There's nothing wrong with that. Daddy Wazzy, the creator, says most retailers only make money after November. Yeah, businesses, retail, make the vast majority of their money in the holidays, right? But on someone says, I want to make money so I can do more stuff, so I can sell the stuff to make more money, to do more stuff. Economics. Yeah, except the problem is you're going to run into you'll run into a very heavy problem quickly. You're not actually able to scale as a singular person. You will eventually need to bring in more people. Zombie says, what do you think of photoshopping a realistic representation of a color that you can offer and say it's photoshopped? Buddy, I got no problem with that. I would say if you've got a color that you can chroma key, do it. Is that a little unethical? Sure, but I don't want to hold all that friggin' inventory for colors nobody's going to buy, potentially. Just print it in a color, chroma key it, Photoshop it, and call it. And put a disclaimer saying, you know, that some colors are representations and that exact colors may vary. Done. Right? XOSA says fast nickel or slow dime. Yeah, it's the penny-wise, dollar-stupid method where you really focus on the pennies that you make rather than focusing on the dollars that you've lost. While yes, the department store gave you 15% off, you didn't need to buy 4 different suits. It wasn't a requirement. You didn't even need 1 suit, let alone 4. And so what you've done is, sure, you've saved 15% on all of those suits, but you didn't need them. And while they might make you feel good, that is a penny-wise and dollar-stupid move unless you have disposable income to handle that, right? It is often, like, I went on a buying spree for filament. I have over 300 kilograms of filament. I've cut myself off. I'm not buying filament until I get rid of some of the stacks that I have, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have to know what I'm doing from the beginning or run into a bit of a problem. So be careful with your spending and be specifically more careful about what you're spending on. If it is a business expense and you do have an LLC, it might often be able to be a write-off. But that doesn't mean that it just evaporates from your balance sheet. A write-off can be written off of your profit. And if you don't have profit, you don't have anything to write off. And while you can carry the losses over for a year or two, not an accountant, don't, your mileage may vary. You got to be very careful because if you aren't making money, you're burning your savings. And again, that's like backing a raccoon into a corner. You never want to do that because that becomes unpredictable very quickly. You want to find yourself with predictability. Business and predictability should and oftentimes do go hand in hand for those that are experienced. For those that are new, there is no predictability. And there is no amount of schooling or business plans or anything that can give you the answer. There is no amount. A lot of times it is just F around and find out. If you have a plan for what you're doing, it sets you up for a closer level of success, but there is no guarantee whatsoever. Who knows? The entire world might shut down for 2 freaking years, and you find yourself wondering, well, that was potentially a stupid move. What are we going to do next? Be able to prepare, plan, and predict. Watch the market, watch the trends, and adjust accordingly. Because if you don't, you'll be left with your pants down, wondering what the hell actually happened. And it won't be one of those good kinds. It won't be. So you mean those stacks behind you? No, build on sound. Those do fit on the racks. My back was hurting when I brought them in yesterday, so I didn't put them on the racks. So those actually fit on the racks. You don't see the other stacks of filament that are next to me. Yeah, there's at least 200 kilos out there. It's easy. Excuse me. Damn, Karen says, when it's quiet, it's worrying. When it's busy, it's frustrating. A nice and steady would be lovely in any job. Like, I excel under a very light amount of stress, right? A looming deadline, a project that's a little challenging. I excel in those scenarios because they really are fun. But as soon as that project becomes very stressful, I shut down. Now, that's what therapy is for, and why I recommend those that are struggling with the stress, go talk to a professional. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally normal. As, you know, a good business says that every business needs an attorney, an accountant, and a bookkeeper. I make my accountant also my bookkeeper. But I believe they also need a therapist, because you are going to go through stress that nobody else is going to understand that isn't also a business owner. And unless you have a group of business owners where you guys can just, you know, literally hang out and just bitch about what's going on and try to help each other, you're going to find yourself in an echo chamber of problems. So having a professional that you can talk to in a secure environment, right? You know, whether it's digital or it's in person, they are bound by, doctor-patient confidentiality, asterisk, unless you do certain things that are illegal. But anyways, they can help you work through those problems. Running a business is one of the most stressful things that most anybody will ever do. I would argue it might be close to as stressful as raising children. As someone that hasn't raised any kids, I couldn't tell you that for sure, but damn, it's stressful. Sometimes they act up, sometimes they make fun of you, sometimes they just break because they break. Sometimes all they want to do is sit in a corner and do nothing, right? It's like kids, especially Bamboo. But having someone to help you, professional, is valuable. While there is an expenditure involved in that, it's investing in yourself when all you're trying to do is invest in your business. Self-investment is worth it. As someone that is taking it very seriously, I recommend other ones do too. And as Daniel D says, his therapist is drinking and talking smack with the boys. I'm fine with that, right? Whatever works for you. You don't have to go see a licensed mental health counselor, okay? If that is to have a couple of brewskis with the boys, hanging out, whatever. Maybe it's, you got a bunch of people you go on a Call of Duty with and you pwn some noobs. I'm fine with all of that, as long as it is a productive way to ensure a stability in your mental health. Because I don't care how difficult your first sale is. I don't care how difficult your second sale is. If you can't keep your mental health in check, none of this shit matters. None of it matters. So focus on what helps you, as well as what you're doing to help others. Because if all you're doing is giving, you don't realize that you're giving so much of yourself. Every single business owner puts every ounce of their being into their business, assuming it's a legal business and all that kind of shit, right? You know, asterisk, not everybody. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. And because of that, they value the work that they do beyond just the dollar. It's part of them. They are providing part of them to somebody else. And if you as a consumer understand that, you recognize the value that you're getting is beyond the money that you paid for the product. It is somebody's legacy. It is somebody's life. It is somebody's energy. Everything that you get started with somebody else. Even the stuff that's made with robots started with somebody else. And if you take that into account every time you buy something, especially when you buy from small people, like small creators, small makers, you end up with a situation that is healthy for all parties involved. You leave good, positive Google reviews. You recommend others do the same thing. You like the videos. You subscribe. You help them so that they can be bigger and that they can take that part-time hobby and turn it into a full-time job. Help those that are trying to help themselves. And even further, help those that help you. Because there's nothing more rewarding than that. Be kind to others. Support them when you can. And shout their names to the high heavens when the time comes. Because there'll be a time when you need to call on them to help you. And if you've been a dick, they ain't answering. If you've been a good friend, you've been a good customer, they'll help you out. I know it because we do it all the time for our customers. Customers that pay on time, that are kind to me, ones that know my home address and mail me aluminum foil. For those of you that missed the stream yesterday, this is a damn funny joke. Are ones you keep around. That person started out as a client and is now one of my best friends. They don't live in Florida anymore, which sucks because I love hanging out with him and his wife. And his wife is a good friend of mine too. Arguably, she likes Amber more. I don't blame her. I do too. Some people know what the foil's about. But like, I texted him, I said, did you really do this? He said, I did. I'm like, I love you. He, you know, I have a whole theory that people that support you in your business are actually really good friends and you don't know it yet, right? People that come to your live streams, that hang out in your Discord, that randomly text you memes, you know, like the image that he sent me this morning, which now in context makes perfect sense. You know, I get, let me cover the name. Can I cover the name without it Xing out? I can. He sends me that photo with absolutely no context, and I get a delivery notification that there are some Amazon packages that I ordered outside. I go outside, and then there's a third package, and I'm like, this is tinfoil. And I open it, and it's tinfoil. And I said, was this you? Let me see exactly what I said to him. I said, did you really send me tinfoil, or was this somebody else? His response is, yes, I did. And then I said, beautiful. And then he gave me a plan for it. So the plan will happen. It will be an inside joke that will exist forever. And it will be hilarious. That guy was a client. And now he's a phenomenal friend. Hell, I gotta have these guys on too. Clients of mine, phenomenal friends. They're local. They owned what was rated the third tree because of how good all the rooms were. The rooms were good because they all had custom 3D printed parts in it. That was what was fun. Oh no, I'm dropping frames. Well, poo. Balls. Dropping frames. Waiting for the internet to come back. Waiting for the internet. The stream hangs. And I'm now curious, because you guys can probably tell me this. Did you pick up all the things that I said when the stream went down? Shit. I'm failing again. Come on, computer. You got this. You got this. You got this. No, Karen. It went down a little bit. I hate this. This sucks. That sucks. I'm seeing it. My internet is dropping packets like crazy. Welcome to the world of living in the boonies. That means you just drop packets for no damn reason. It's funny because it used to be the PC in the garage. Now it's this one. I'm now monitoring my packets. So you're on a loop about frames. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Build on Sound says, we're here. We're here. Did you not reboot your PC before the stream again? I did reboot my PC before the stream. So I did that. That's on me. It's the bamboo curse. I talked about the tinfoil. We're getting DDoSed. Sorry. Well, hey, if you ever want a stream to have lots of participation, just randomly start dropping packets. Neighbor flushed his toilet again. 3 Musketeers turn off torrent. Hey, I use a VPN for that, like any smart person does. That'd be a great segue into a VPN ad that I don't have. But would have been hilarious. Would have been absolutely hilarious. Did I reboot the router? I haven't rebooted the router, but since the stream went well yesterday, I didn't feel the need to reboot the router. So I don't know, man. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Okay. Karen says, leave bamboo out of this. It's only watching his every move. Well, it's not here, so I don't know how I could watch my only move. I would have a bamboo that watch my only moves, except I don't have one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Victoria. I'm sorry I woke you up. Oh, Maker Deck's here, which means Liz is here, and she's on the wrong YouTube account. Hi, Liz. Anyways, like, the escape room. It was Imagine Escape Games, for those that want to look it up. They were rated number 3 in the nation by some of the best reviewers of escape rooms. We did all of the custom 3D printing in those spaces, and there were many times where I was like up in the ceiling of this space with the owner, and we were just making it happen. We were wiring, we were doing all this crazy stuff. And now they're great friends. They just had a kid like 8 months ago, so I haven't really talked to them since. But the day that we saw them last, the wife went into labor. So, like after we left, they had their kid kind of right after we left, which was kind of cool. So I know how old the kid is because I remember the day. But yeah, it's, they're good friends. I go over and play board games at their house. They're cool people. They're great. They're awesome. And, they're customers. They start out as customers. And so look at those people, right? I consider most of the Patreon members that are in our Discord friends of mine because I talk with them. We hang out. We'll jump in, voice chats. They help out with video topics. My God. Sometimes I need that kind of help. They're good people. Right? Had a kid. Congrats. That's easily the best escape room ever. That's a bad joke, but I love it. Kudos. But yeah, like, look at those people that, and like, they would always talk about our business. My buddy that sent the tinfoil always talks about my business. An amazing gentleman. Love working with him. they're disciples. They're really nice people. And for a long time, I said, I'm going to separate my business and my personal life. And there is some good reason to do it. But some of your customers might be really cool people to hang out with. And turns out a lot of my customers are really cool people to hang out with. And, having a home-based business now is not looked down upon. So go for the home-based business. You'll have a lot more success than paying rent somewhere else, as well as paying rent or a mortgage on your own house. Think about what makes the best sense for you, what makes the best sense for your business, and what makes the best sense for you mentally. And if those three things don't align, maybe it's time to rethink. I don't know. Like, as I see things that stress me out a lot in the business and, things like getting new clients, I hate doing it because I take it too personally. And I know that a lot of new business owners do the same thing. I've been doing this for 7 years on my own. 12 years now professionally? And I still take, reaching out to companies. I get nervous because if they say no, that means I've done something wrong, whether it's my pitch was bad, my offerings were bad, my price wasn't right, whatever it is. Something was wrong. And I feel some type of way about that. I don't like that feeling. It doesn't feel good. So we look at what's different, what's changed, and I assess. It's one of the first hires we're looking at, other than engineers, but I'm looking at what it would take to bring on a salesperson. So to do that, I have to start documenting every step of the sales process, what it looks like from the minute the phone rings to the minute the part's delivered, what it looks like from the minute I pick up the phone or I send an email to the time the first handshake is done, to the first contract is signed. Those are things that I should have done early on. Maybe we got to have a podcast on things that I learned the hard way, which I know we did. But I feel like we always need to revisit some of those topics because it's very valuable in situ like this. We have cool guests coming on the next couple of weeks. So we have guests the next couple of weeks, which is good. I am excited about that. We have some awesome people coming on. Anyways, I forgot to hit the button that saves the last 2 minutes. Ronnie says, oh, no, I'm not gonna read that one. Diagnose says, at 3D Musketeers, I will use this moment to thank you for your open talk about 3D business. Too many are jealous of their experience, and by keeping to themselves, they damage the whole industry. Market is way from saturated. I agree. The market is way from saturated. I could have a much more honest talk. I don't share a lot of the struggles with you guys because ultimately I think it sounds like me bitching all the time, even though, I guess it kind of is. It's not supposed to be, right? But I will tell you, things don't always go the right way, right? It is not easy, right? When the phone doesn't ring, where it was last month was historically slow. We have never had a slower February than last month. We made more money on social media than we did in the business. That does not happen. Right? So I have to sit there and say, all right, what is going on in the world? Why did our sales tank? Did we do something wrong? Did we lose a client? What happened? I don't really want to talk about that stuff with you guys because, one, that's me kind of bitching and airing my dirty laundry. But two, that's not what this is about. This podcast is called Making Awesome, not Grant bitches about his problems in business. I want to be open and honest with people because I believe there is value with that. Because if all you are doing is just complaining, then when you do have a success, no one's going to be there to listen. I want to talk about our wins. I want to talk about the fact that we're going to, I mean, if all goes well, we're going to be working with a really cool museum to 3D scan actual million-year-old artifacts that I might be able to handle with white gloves. I'm going to get to do something where white gloves are a requirement. And no, that's not just changing a tire on a Mercedes. If you didn't know, Mercedes come with white gloves when you need to change a tire. It's a thing. And like, that shit is cool. I could share that win, but I really don't like sharing wins until like we're signed on the dotted line, because every time I do that, the shit always blows up in my face. And while we have worked with the Smithsonian before, and you can bet your sweet ass I leverage the hell out of that relationship. Because if they worked with us, why wouldn't this tiny museum work with us too? Right? Like, obvious leverage, right? Are we better? Are we happier? Shit! I don't know, man. Some days life just doesn't want to play ball with you. Some days life does not want to play ball. Welcome to Florida, I guess. Are we going to be stable? Are we stable, internet? Or are you... I think my internet needs a mood stabilizer. Is there a way that I can, like, give it a mood stabilizer? Like, can we give my internet a benzodiazepine, please? So it can calm its shit? Because we were just dropping packets. Crazy. Absolutely crazy dropping packets. Anyways. I believe it's good to share the wins. And it is important to share the losses. But if you are just sharing the wins, or you are just sharing the losses, and you're not sharing everything, that's a problem. Audio's unreliable? What? I'm confused. It shows that I have a stable stream. Well, okay, I sound fine now. All right, well, refresh the stream or something. I don't know, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. Probably wouldn't drop packets if you put the hat on. Yeah, you're right. No, I gotta call Spectrum again for the third time this week for drop packets. Again. So, hi, if any of you work at Spectrum, it'd be really nice if I could get, you know, some contacts to go up the food chain, because I am literally having a truck come out to my house every 2 weeks at this point, and they never find anything. And yet they can see the packet loss, they just don't know where it's coming from. And that is not a viable source for me when I am a content creator, because we were at, before the dip, we were at, 80 concurrent viewers, and now we're down to in the 50s. That's a business problem. Like, I could bitch about that all day. I could bitch about how our internet just is terrible. But I don't. I only do it when it is terrible. Anyways, this has been almost 2 hours, so I think it's probably a good time to wrap it up anyways. Let the modem cool down, because apparently it's overheating. Who the hell knows what's going on? But yeah, Pezla says Spectrum gave me issues in Florida. I would go with fiber, but fiber doesn't come out to where I live. So it's either fiber, it's either Spectrum or DSL. Chris C asks, am I at the end of a line or a run? Yes, I am literally the last home on the run. Yeah. We have signal boosters, which actually do a pretty decent job. But, yeah, still. This is a problem. It's a problem when imagine when you're uploading like 100 gigabyte file recording to your editor and you lose enough packets for the upload to die. Yeah. Chrissy says use Starlink as a failover. If Elon wanted to pay for me to have a Starlink dish so I could use it as a failover, you bet your sweet ass I would do it. But I'm not paying $150 a month for a failover. not happening. Glue a heatsink on your router. Well, my router is fine. It's Asus RT86U for anyone that's curious. It's the modem that has the problems. It's the modem that's the problems. Diana says, DJI with jammers and 22 rifles behind the camera. He didn't use tinfoil. Okay, funny story. My house is concrete block and steel studs. So the house is basically a Faraday cage. So I'm kind of always surrounded by tinfoil. Justin Miller says my internet connection clearly has wet filament. Yeah, Victoria, can you go fix the internet? Oh my gosh, look at the stretch. Oh, what a good stretch. Can you go fix the internet, please? Please? Miss Vicky, can you go fix the internet? No. She says she's only cat 5. We're up to cat 7 here in the house, so you know. She can't help. She's only good to cat 5. Oh, what a good yawn. Mr. Emendon says, I have fiber every now and then I have to reboot the fiber ONT as well as my router. It's just something that needs to happen. Yeah, I'm thinking of putting a smart switch on all of that and just putting it on a routine to reset it like 4 a.m. Monday morning, every Monday morning. Bill, that sounds cat. The hell you expect from me? I'm a cat. No, Ruin, that was a joke. Cat 5e is a type of internet Ethernet cable. We use Cat 7 here in the house. Technically, the line that goes out to the garage for the standing set, that is Cat 6, but everything else is Cat 7. Anyways, internet problems. I think we've beaten this dead horse enough, so I'm going to get out of here, guys. Enjoy. I hope this one has been fun, even with the frame drops. You guys know how it goes here. There's nothing I can do about it. Welcome to living in the boonies. Welcome to Florida. Welcome to only having one choice or DSL. So I hope this has helped those of you that have businesses or are looking to do businesses. Please let me know if you have any other topics that you'd like me to cover in these podcasts. We have a couple of guests coming up for the next few weeks, so stay tuned for those. The 2 guests we have the 3D printing general coming up, as well as Dan Brunimer from B-Jetting. So we're going to have some really awesome guests coming up, and it is going to be awesome. But yeah, guys, let me know if there's any topics you want to see covered. Leave them in the comments, not in the chat, because I'm not going to review the chat. Sorry. So comment them. And if there are anything that you want to see, make sure to add it to the docket of podcasts. But I am going to be looking to bring on a co-host. This will be a thing that we're doing soon. Anyways, everybody take care. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Season 3, episode 26. How to get your first sale. It's more complicated than you think. Take care.